Hey, what is up, all of you nerdy internet nerd listeners on the internet this evening? Hi, I am Josh coming in with another graceful segue into our Let's Listen here tonight. On bonus stage, I am joined by none other than the Bi Scorers themselves, Carrie and Ian. Hey, what's up, you two?
What's up, dude?
How's it going?
It's pretty good. I'm just hanging out here with the COVIDs. And
Oh no.
Yeah, that's all good. We're here for you guys. So my sickness can stick it. Yeah, but we
Well,
are
I'm
here.
glad you're in good spirits in spite of it, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
And what an unfortunate name for guests, the COVIDs, too. I mean, are they staying for a while? Are they in from out of town? Or
they usually stick around for like 3 to 5 days. It's
okay,
a
not too
little
bad.
beyond their welcome, if you ask me. But anyways, we're not here to talk about my illness. We're here to talk about your illness, which is these sick arrangements that you have prepared. We've got twice the reason to celebrate tonight because you are releasing, well, not releasing two, but we are celebrating two of your releases here tonight with a very common theme. And that is, of course, is this Persona and this is Persona. Yeah, I don't know where do we want to kick off here? Like, there's the obvious meme thing, but like, is that it? Like, what is the persona that we are questioning here with our first release?
I feel like, I had come up with the idea for this a bit because like Ian and I are both huge fans of like not just Persona but of Shin Megami Tensei as a franchise at large. Um and I feel like a lot of times it's like people will play something from the mainline SMT franchise and like a lot of the response is usually like, is this Persona? And so like, and on top of that, historically, and by historically I mean for the last year, when Ian and I performed like the map theme from Nocturne as part of the Band of Goblins set and whatnot, we'd always introduce it with like, do you guys like Persona? Cool, this is Shin Megami Tensei. Like, and so it just sort of turned into like a bit of a thing, and I just thought it would be a fun way to sort of celebrate the franchise at large, especially since Atlas was doing this ongoing like 30th anniversary celebration of the SMT series at large last year. So I just thought it would be a fun way to sort of continue that celebration a bit.
Nice, hell yeah. Well, I have just a very cursory knowledge of both Shin Megami Tensei and Persona, and from an outsider's perspective, Shin Megami Tensei just basically looks like Final Fantasy with the anime dial turned all the way. Is that like a pretty accurate representation?
I wouldn't even know like, would you qualify it as like the anime dial, or would you qualify it as like the Judeo-Christianity symbolism dial? Because
Yeah, I would say like definitely more of the latter. But if you're just looking at it, yeah, it's a more weebified Final Fantasy. But I mean, I would say Final Fantasy itself is more weebified than this. It's just that you see a lot of times Japanese high school. Okay, there it is, right? It's instantly the more anime take on all of that. But there's a lot more to it than that, and a lot less to it than that. I'm sure we'll get to over the course of this listening party, and kind of what exactly it represents as a franchise and what it brings to the table in terms of JRPGs as a whole. And I think it's actually kind of fair to bring up Final Fantasy because it is, I think, it's really easy to lump it in terms of popularity now, especially with Persona. But they couldn't be more different in a lot of ways. And, but also at the end of the day, it's still a cringy to explain to your parents and loved ones turn-based Japanese role-playing franchise on both fronts. So, yeah.
Oh, very loving. Well, I think the last time we had you guys on to talk about any of your music was for your debut of the Hot Light. God, when was that? That was way back in
July.
July.
July of last year. And yeah, I mean the Shin Megami Tensei EP was actually released before the end of 2023 there, and now
Like 2
we're
whole
just
days.
2 whole days.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
snuck it in right at the end.
right. Just really wanted to compete with New Year's there, get everybody's hot attention. But yeah, you guys have been up to quite a bit actually. Outside of putting together the releases and stuff like that. I hear that you guys won a groovy for the Hot Light. In fact,
Not
besides just
specifically
like
for the
Alan's thumbs
yeah.
up, what the fuck is a groovy?
So the Groovies are like, so Game Grooves does like their annual awards, which is basically just Alan, Mr. Grooves himself, sort of, you know, honoring folks in the community who he thinks really did a lot for um for the community at large. So we were named VGM Group of the Year for 2023, which is very nice of him. And we're definitely very flattered and very humbled by that, especially since like we were really only active for about half of last year. We just had a lot of output. But yeah, it wasn't for the Hotlight. It was just for us as Bi Score. But yeah, I mean, that was real nice. We've been pretty busy otherwise. We've had our like foray into the dwelling of duels as Bi Score. We've been working on a couple different like compilations that we've been a part of. The most recent of which would have been Wave Beam for 4 Game Grooves. We did a real gay industrial synth version of Dark Samus. But yeah, it's been a busy few months. I forget who it was who said it, but someone referred to us as the can't stop, won't stoppingest group in VGM right now.
That would be Woodsier, Texas, as they're known on Twitter, and it's also their performance name. I think they're in the Portland or Washington area, but
Pacific
really good horn
Northwest,
player.
what's up?
Yeah, from PNW, I believe, and if you're not, I'm sorry. But yeah, that was a really nice compliment. I'll take it as a compliment at least.
Yeah.
We're around, and I think Alan definitely was correct in giving us the award for the tire fire on the side of the highway that is VGM that you just can't take your eyes away from.
The most around VGM group. Oh man, yeah. You guys definitely are a breakaway winner in that category for sure. Love seeing everything. Like if you guys go to the Bandcamp, you got a few singles up there. Is this reflective of your entire catalog, or is there still more that you guys are sitting on?
Well, there's stuff that's like, as Carrie had mentioned, that's been on like Game Grooves compilations, the stuff that you won't find on there. But I mean, I sound like you're about to say something, so I'll let you go.
I mean, I was just going to say you could probably check our Spotify because that'll also contain everything that's on all the different compilations and whatnot. There's a smattering of singles. The first single, I guess the only single that we've put out that's not attached to an album was our RoboCop cover a couple months ago.
Featuring Red.
Yeah, exactly. Our RoboCop tribute to Red Foreman.
Born to love, programmed to be a dumbass. Oh my god!
I had a lot of fun sourcing all the Red Foreman samples and all the Clarence Boddicker samples. Like, yeah, that's a fun one. But yeah, I think we've got some other stuff kicking around. We'll still be putting out stuff on other compos and through like DOD and whatnot. We've actually, I guess it's not really a commission. Basically, like a friend of mine was doing like a sort of charity raffle for someone else in the video game vinyl community that I'm a part of. If you haven't seen my vinyl collection, ask me about it sometime at a convention or at an event. I would love to talk to you about the vinyls of dubious legality that I currently own. So one of the prizes that I had sort of donated was like, basically it's like we will cover as Bi Score like anything you guys want. Like that would be the prize, is just like, you tell us to cover something and we'll cover it. So the person who won that prize, chose it from the raffle pool, basically, wants us to do a Korok Forest arrangement from Breath of the Wild / Tears of the Kingdom. So that's going to be sort of next on my plate as far as arranging that and putting that out. And then I think we're finally going to release our tape exclusive thing that we did for the Hotlight tapes. I think we're finally going to put that out as like an individual single at some point.
Little hidden
which
track
ties
there.
into everything that has to do with tonight's.
Yeah, it's also it's a Persona track, so we'll do that after we let this EP have some breathing room here. So
yeah,
we'll tell you this: if you were at MagFest and you were just in your room on the Gaylord television, if you saw an ad for Mag West, that was the song. And if you didn't hear it, buy a cassette tape. And if you don't have access to a cassette tape, wait like 60 to 90 more days and you'll hear it. Or just message us. I'll send you the master or something, like an MP3, you know.
Right.
Just give it to you.
Oh man. Well, speaking of giving your Persona album some breathing room, that is scheduled to release tomorrow, and up until now there has only been one song that we've been able to listen to, which is featuring some very talented folks, but I think we're getting ahead of ourselves a little bit. Of course, tonight we're going to be featuring both the EPs, Is This Persona and This Is Persona, and more than just a let's listen. This is actually going to be a let's watch, let's look. I don't know, the alliteration is there somewhere, but I think it's very impressive and very marketable that you have prepared videos to accompany all of your music, which is just incredible.
Big shout outs, by the way, to Carrie on that, because I get pegged a lot as the video dude besides Nate Horsefall when it comes like
Nate Horsefall.
And I also should say there's a lot of video dudes in this realm. I'm not saying it's just those. I get pegged as being the weirdo goofball one a lot of times. But Carrie pulls a lot of weight when it comes to video for Bi Score, and has like every video that you're going to see tonight has all been done by her. So just want to throw that out there. Like Carrie does a lot of the heavy lifting for video for this band. So you're going to see all of her handiwork tonight.
Yeah, so most of the videos tonight are basically just going to be like visualizers more so than like playthroughs. I enjoy putting together like basically like what does playing this music make me think of in terms of the game itself. So that's really what I'm going for here, is more of these sort of like game visualizers to accompany the music. But yeah.
Absolutely. And then it doubles for your show visualizing.
Exactly.
Oh my god, so smart, so marketable.
It's almost like I work full time in marketing.
Oh my god. There's a win. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. All right, well, I think I'm ready to get into our first little block here, folks. We are going to be breaking down these two releases as they are 6 tracks each. We're just going to listen to 3, or we're going to listen and watch to 3 tracks at a time. Starting with, Is This Persona? And the answer is no, it's Shin Megami Tensei. But yeah, coming up first, we're going to be listening and watching Ginza. Am I saying that right? Ginza?
Yep.
Or is it Ginza?
Yes.
Okay. Cathedral of Shadows and Title Loop 2. Going for those deep
Not
cuts
number
there.
1. I'm doing the second title loop.
Yeah. You gotta watch that title again to get the second one. Oh man. Anyways, I believe the two of you know the formalities here, folks. Let's
watch and listen.
Wow, nice. Very short, very brief. We're just dipping our toes into the Shin Megami Tensei catalog here. One thing that I noticed when setting up this listening party was how you tackled it like very chronologically with the series, and it's interesting to notice the change in like the tone of the songs and like like early 16-bit stuff. You get a lot of rock, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
yeah, it's just like it lends itself really well to like however many channels you're working with, and then moving on to more capable 3D systems, then you can get into some more nuance and orchestral and EDM stuff, all that kind of stuff. So yeah,
CD quality, baby.
CD
You know,
quality. Oh
Red
my
Book
god,
audio. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, you don't need to
well, I
like
don't know if
rely
any
on
of that's Red Book
samplers
shit.
anymore. You've got wave files on that fucking cartridge. I don't know.
I mean, it is definitely a huge difference going from SMT 1 and 2 to 3. There was a huge gap between those. Now, there were technically other mainline Shin Megami Tensei games in that time. Technically speaking, like Shin Megami Tensei If was released between 2 and 3 and like technically counts as a mainline game. We opted to just go with the numbered entries for the sake of keeping this an EP length. But like there are other, games in the Shin Megami Tensei series that are considered mainline, like If and 9, I think, and Strange Journey. But yeah, there's definitely an interesting jump going from Super Famicom to PlayStation 2. um but yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun tackling. So Ian tackled Ginza and Tidal Loop 2, and I arranged Cathedral of Shadows. And I wanted to put Cathedral of Shadows on there in particular because it's the sort of Velvet Room equivalent for the mainline games, where it's like, it's where you fuse demons, right? That's where you go. And unlike the Velvet Room, the Cathedral of Shadows theme does not stay the same game to game. So I wanted to make sure we got one of them in there, but I thought it would be fun to take what is basically like a Bach style organ solo and turn it into a guitar piece.
Yeah,
And
playing Baroque architecture on a guitar is you're shaking your head. I know that feeling. Oh
that
my
was the
god.
hardest track of all 12 songs tonight. It's like And it's the one where I listen to it, it's like, oh, how pretty, how nice. And it's like I've pushed out of my brain how much I was like, fuck, if I got an arpeggio wrong, or like, had to make sure her run was really clean. But Carrie did a really good job arranging all those parts together. And there would be some harmonies where I'm like, no, this is gonna be a couple of guitars doing this. I'm not gonna fucking do all these shapes. But that was a fun one too, because it also has Carrie playing guitar on it as well. So
Yeah, I played
my
guitar on actually both Cathedral of Shadows and Tidal Loop. So
yeah.
Nice. Good to mix up the sounds a little bit. Hell yeah.
Little harmonizing.
And then in terms of the other orchestration and stuff like that, I know Ian, you do synths regularly as well. Yeah, and
Yep.
drums programmed. Somebody did those, right?
If it isn't a Mr. Kev Ragone or an Andy Wade or one of these other dorks we can name drop who play the skins, it's usually going to be a lot of velocity massaging and telling yourself that snare sucks. Get a better one.
Just go
down. Myself real quick on that joke. I'm actually not someone who hyper focuses on snare quality. I feel like that's a detriment to actually getting anything done.
Yeah,
I'm sure Kev will say something different later on.
Yeah, yeah. Kev's waiting in the wings to.
I'm gonna get all my insults out now.
Oh my god! I just have a question here. Why play SMT? And I don't know if you're like, because that folks who are listening and watching, that is a question from them that I am going to ask them, but they're going to tell me what it means. I don't know if they're talking about why play the music, why play the games, why put on a listening party for this shit. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Do you want to go first on that one?
Go ahead.
All right. Well, I'm going to tell you to play it just because I had a history of choices that led me to playing these games. And so, I can't go back in time and tell you why, except for I saw Nocturne and I got a used copy of it a couple of years after it had been out, and I was like, this game rules. And that was it. And then I just thought this game is sick, and it's got a cool vibe to it, as your typical American weeb who thinks, everything in the PlayStation 2 era was particularly sick. That was a JRPG, and especially that game and the qualities it has aesthetically, like it got me. It got me into it. Like I wasn't old enough to tell you like, oh yeah, I saw the stuff on the Super Famicom. Like, no, I didn't know anything about that franchise until Nocturne came around. And then I played it, and I don't know how I played it through because I've been playing through the remaster for like the last 2 or 3 years. Stuck at like the first big boss fight, and like somehow I did this shit in high school. But like, I would say like, look, I think everyone should give it a shot, and that like I think just not even just as a JRPG or as an RPG, like I just think they're really cool. I feel like there's a lot of great atmosphere, and it's just give it a shot. It might be for you, it might not be. It's definitely not as approachable as Persona is for a lot of different reasons, but as someone who played the SMT games first, I just kind of got a soft spot for them. And there's times where they piss me off and they're obscenely difficult. But they also, like a lot of games, that can be really challenging. Once you kind of get over those humps, you feel very rewarded. And I feel like the game rewards you a lot in the vibes and in the aesthetics and the music. The music is a big part of it. Obviously, that's what we're here, to talk about are the arrangements from these games. And I feel like for both SMT and for Persona, the music is such a strong point to the rest of the art, whether that is the gameplay or, the visuals. I can only give the most bullshit reason to play it is it's really cool.
It's really cool.
And you might like it and you might not. I dipped my toes into that many decades ago, and it became something where like then every time there was a new release after that, I was immediately interested. Whether or not I could complete it or not is a totally different story. But
it's not easy to dethrone God, right?
No, it's really not. We've been trying.
Yeah.
The thing about the mainline SMT series, and honestly even a lot of the spin-offs that we didn't have the opportunity to cover between these two, is like, yeah, like the vibes of these games, like they're very moody compared to Persona, which feels very like optimistic and upbeat and, hanging out with your friends and making fun, making relationships and connecting with your people and whatnot. Whereas like the casts of the mainline SMT games are very small. It's typically like you have one like person in your party, and then the rest of your party is fleshed out by like the demons that you recruit and whatnot. I honestly think, you know, to look back at the history of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise, it's we wouldn't have contemporary monster collecting games if not for Shin Megami Tensei really laying the groundwork for like what that could look like. You know, I firmly believe we would not have Pokemon if Shin Megami Tensei was not setting the groundwork, you know, basically 5 to 10 years before Pokemon was really even conceived.
Or at the very least, we wouldn't have some type of like fusion or breeding systems or things in the way that they're designed now without it, because it really did kind of lay that foundation. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Shin Megami Tensei walked so that Pokemon could run.
In a few ways, yeah. It's, you know, it's a very different vibe of game from a lot of other JRPGs out there. But yeah, like the music is great. I see some folks in chat talking about the best point of entry. Saying SMT5 is the best point of entry. I think it's up there. I would argue that the HD remaster of Nocturne, given the quality of life upgrades that they made to that game to make it a little more accessible, I think that's probably the best point of entry. But
I'm going to say 5 if you've played Persona first. Just to say that. I was going to also bring up.
I think 5 is a good stepping stone between Persona and the other SMT games.
Yeah.
I also wish that they would remaster the Digital Devil Saga duology, because I've always thought that was a really good stepping stone between Persona and the other mainline SMT series, just in terms of like vibes and accessibility and just sort of like ease of access. But in any case, Shin Megami Tensei is really good. It's been around for 30 plus years for a reason, and it still blows my mind that, you know, it's just Persona obviously has so much of, you know, the Western mainstream gaming populace in a chokehold at this point. But, you know, SMT has not experienced the same kind of mainstream popularity, and I think that's kind of a shame.
Yeah, it sounds like a tonal issue.
Yeah.
If you're disenchanted with your religious upbringing, I mean...
Yeah.
Well, have I got a game for you? Hey, kid, come here.
You like punishing dungeon crawlers with none of the fun stuff of Persona, but you also like really bitchin' music. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. I'm sold. Just a question. So if 5 is the best entry point, where is the series at now? What number?
5 is the most recent entry. So that came out on Switch a couple years ago. It's currently still a Switch exclusive, which means that like there are times where the game kind of runs like garbage on that system.
Yeah.
I really, really hope they do like a PC port of that game. I don't understand. I mean, I assume there's some degree of, you know, exclusivity deal that they had with Nintendo as far as that was concerned. Because a lot of the other more recent mainline games were also Nintendo exclusives and were locked to either the DS or the 3DS.
Yeah, really wish I got the discounted Fry's Electronics copies of 4 and Apocalypse a decade ago, when I had, you know, not known that we would have this band or be making these, and I couldn't play them anymore.
As it goes.
Oh man. Well, speaking of 5, we are steadily making our way towards some music from that. But before that, we are going to be listening to a couple of tracks from 4, namely 4 and 4 Apocalypse. They are the Battle B2, great name, and Large Map, which is also a really good name, and and Tokyo Daybreak, finally, from Shin Megami Tensei 5. Yeah. Should we dip into it, or do you have anything you need to say to prepare our listeners' ears? Ian.
I just want to tell you, if you look at any of the Shin Megami Tensei games, if it has any level called map and large map, they're both going to rip, no matter what.
Okay.
Map is probably going to, you know, really kind of ease you into the experience of cartography. Large map is going to fuck you up. It's going to be really good. And I think also want to say a big part of Carrie and I doing this, at least for me, is if you are familiar with my musical exploits at all, you know, on my full-length Exceptional Goblins, which had a Let's Listen that was over 3 hours long for whatever reason with Josh. One of the tracks on there was Large Map from Nocturne. So I personally have a soft spot for the map themes of most games, but especially this franchise.
Just as a quick aside, when we were first sussing out like which tracks from SMT we were going to do, we had 3 battle themes and 3 map themes, and it was like we gotta we gotta get some more diversity in here.
Map battles.
So we still have basically, we still have 2 map themes. Tokyo Daybreak is also technically a map theme.
And it's really good.
Oh man.
But,
and I guess like you know, I mean in Final Fantasy the equivalent would be the overworld themes.
Exactly.
Typically a main theme, right? They got to be bangers because you're going to be spending so much time listening to them. Great. Well, we're just going to spend a little bit of time listening to them and watching the visualizations, etc. So if you guys are ready, then let's go.
Listen.
Hell.
Over 1,500 years have passed since I formed the pact with my master. You are either truly skilled or fools indeed to ignore his warning. I will dine on your blood that wishes to mingle with the unclean.
Beautiful. Love a
Thank
good
you.
map theme. Holy shit. Oh man. All right. Well, that is it, folks. That is this persona. So I think we've answered that question pretty thoroughly. We knew the answer back in December 29th of 2023. Now we are finally starting to dip into the new shit. But before we get that, yeah, let's talk a little bit about why these two games are together and what makes them kind of similar and what makes them separate. What give me some SMT versus Persona, and give me some pros and cons. What are we looking at here? Why are these two together?
Well, I mean, ultimately, Persona is a sub-series of the Shin Megami Tensei franchise. Persona
Oh,
was created after the success of Shin Megami Tensei If, which had a similar sort of like high school setting, and the response to that setting was overwhelmingly positive. And so they went, okay, well, maybe we need to do more games in this kind of style. So the first game being just Revelations Persona for the original PlayStation was basically created to run off of the success of Shin Megami Tensei If, and I want to say that was the first. I'm probably incorrect. It's certainly one of the first titles in the larger SMT franchise at large to be localized and ported over to West. So it's one of the first SMT Mega 10 games to be localized for English speaking audiences. And I think like what SMT does well is the games are difficult, but they're pretty condensed. You know, Nocturne is notoriously a very difficult game, but you can finish the game in like 40 to 50 hours. Whereas like most Persona games, especially modern Persona games, so I'm talking 3 onward, these are like 120, 150 hour RPGs most of the time. Because you have all of like the social stats and whatnot, and giving yourself and your party boosts through these, you know, story elements that, you know, these characters being fleshed out in the ways that you choose to sort of pursue them and whatnot. So yeah, they're very similar in a lot of ways. The Demon Fusion system is just the Persona Fusion system by a different name. All of the Personas themselves are literally just demons from the SMT franchise. They all use the same names and the same designs, many of which have been around for 30 years at this point. They just keep up-resing these designs. Yeah, Ian, what would you say? Like,
I mean, that's really the big thing there is like you said, it's Persona is so much more of the, you know, an immersive RPG in simulation than SMT. SMT is, you know, turn-based battles, dungeon crawling. The story isn't really going to go that deep. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you that Shin Megami Tensei has like a really deep story. Persona goes much deeper into like the interpersonal relationships. I mean, you have characters that like run a bookstore or running, you know, for some low-level political office, a kid who hardly sees his parents or siblings, you know, whatever the storyline might be, is probably going to be 10 times deeper than the overarching plot in like SMT5. They're still both really great series for totally different reasons, but like one is, I would say I like SMT more for just the grind. I like the same repetitive JRPG battles and going through these dungeons and getting shitty treasures and being mad all the time at every new boss fight, and still coming back for more just because I'm of that generation that loves that shit, and it's kind of a part of it. And
that's how we were raised.
Exactly, yeah, that's my old man thing, is just like we just liked games like that, and where I wouldn't fault someone for not being as into it. Whereas, yeah, Persona just has, there's so much more going on, and it has way more features and mechanics, but at the same time, it's such a low like bar of entry to like get in and enjoy the series, and it's a lot more relatable. But I think, and that also comes into play too with the music. I mean, they both have the really intense songs. They're kind of poppier tunes, but you know, the Persona soundtracks, they definitely lean heavily in a different direction than what, you know, you hear with the SMT stuff. And I think that's also pretty well represented in the next, you know, group of tracks that are coming up too.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, with only 6 songs that, you know, if you're keeping your dual EPs all balanced and shit, you've got 6 songs. What was it like to narrow down what songs you were going to play for Persona?
I knew that I wanted to have the Velvet Room, not just to mirror the fact that we had Cathedral of Shadows present on the SMT one, but because Velvet Room is really the only track that appears across every single Persona game. It was written for Persona 1 and has carried through the entire franchise. It has obviously been reorchestrated a couple of times for more modern, you know, sound chips and whatnot. But I knew I wanted to have Velvet Room on there as sort of a representative of Persona at large. And then I wanted 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But with a series that has really been in a lot of ways, particularly 3, 4, and 5, a lot of these songs have just been covered over and over and over and over and over again. And so I think it was important to Ian and I, not just to pick songs that we liked and thought we could put our own spin on, but to maybe shine a light on some of the Persona tracks that otherwise don't really get a lot of attention. So in this first block, you're going to hear Velvet Room, and then you're going to hear our Persona 1 and 2 tracks, which Persona 1 and 2 really don't get covered much at all because no one's fucking played these games except my friend Sean, and like, I wish he was here tonight to talk about how good Personas 1 and 2 are.
I wish you'd played Persona 1 and 2 so you could talk about them yourself.
I truthfully haven't really played much of either of these games, but I do love the music. I played a little bit of Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, but truthfully, not a lot. I definitely need to go back and play these games myself. But Alone Prayer was actually one of the new tracks when they put that game on the PSP. And they called it went from being Revelations Persona to Shin Megami Tensei Persona, because people aren't already confused enough about these fucking games and their relationship to each other, right? But yeah, Alone Prayer, it's a lot of fun. It's definitely a Shoji Meguro battle theme in a lot of ways. That was one where we got to feature our buddy Jay Kim, Ronan Op F, on violin on that. And then Maya's theme was one I wanted to do because it's one of the few like character specific themes. And it's also one of the few themes that has been really rearranged several times in an official capacity across the, not just Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, but there was also like an official like arrangement album that I think they did for the PSP port of, I guess it was Innocent Sin that they did. I forget which one that like wasn't available in the US at first, and then they did it years later on PSP. But yeah, Maya's theme. I mean, Maya is one of the two main characters of the Persona 2 duology. So unsurprising that she would have her own sort of theme. But yeah, it's a track that has been officially rearranged several times, and so our version definitely cribs a lot from a few of the different arrangements that were already done in an official capacity. So
very nice.
Yeah.
Well, and to deliver these tracks in a really cool and neat way, you've also outsourced some talent such as Ronan Op F, but also famously Lacey Johnson and Kev Ragone, who's still sitting in the wings.
Kev's being very patient tonight.
Yeah, he's really cool, just hanging out backstage.
Yeah, Lacey, I'm actually wearing, this is the only like Persona themed shirt that I have, and it's the Lacey Johnson Persona 5 shirt. Yeah, Lacey's teaching for like another hour, otherwise she would have been here. But yeah, we'll talk more about her on the next talk break, since she and Kev are both on Wiping All Out. But yeah, with the Persona stuff, we definitely had some folks in mind as far as like who we wanted to bring in for some extra spice on some of these tracks. Yeah, I was stoked to have Jay on Alone Prayer. Jay has obviously worked with Ian quite a bit in Birthday and otherwise, but I haven't had the opportunity to work with Jay before on one of my arrangements. So I was just like, it's my turn now.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to hear it, and I'm sure everybody else is as well. We've got some listening and some looking. Yeah, so folks, that was not Persona, what we were listening to just now. This is a Persona. So let's
listen
up.
Lived in buried memory with fear-ridden self-consciousness. It's my lone prayer running on the cold track. The hate-crazed thoughts just don't stop as if dreams wake from death. The world takes all I said to you. Override this pain, tearing me up. I'm melting with you, frozen mind, ray of light, ready to run to nowhere. Override this pain, tearing me up. Won't you stay with me? My last prayer has no aim. Please just let me feel alive. Lived in buried memory with fear-ridden self-consciousness. It's my lone prayer running on the cold track. The hate-crazed thoughts just don't stop as if dreams wake from death. The world takes all I said to you. Override this pain, tearing me up. Tokateiku, frozen mind, ray of light, ready to run to nowhere. Override this pain, tearing me up. Yasuda Ida, my last prayer has no aim. Please just let me feel alive.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Rock Drummer. I don't know a thing about Persona, but the visuals are cool. The songs are bopping. And now we're joined finally by Kev Ragone. Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, thanks for having me. I've been chilling backstage this whole time, but it's
Judging
We
us
all
with
knew
our
you were
commentary.
nice to be out here. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm here because I drum on, I think, the next song that we're going to be listening to, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. The P3 one with Lacey. So
Hell yeah.
I
It's
was
not
available
wiping out.
to. Yeah, it's wiping all out. That's
Wiping all out. Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, right on, man. Well, now that we got you here, we're going to talk about other things entirely. No,
Let's do it.
Oh man. Well, yeah. I think we wanted to talk a little bit about the album art concept, which is pretty cute. Gotta say, look at that. There's that one. Where's the other one? Hold on. Ta-da. This one. Ta-da. So it's like, is this Persona? No, this is Persona. But it's just a reversed image, and they're looking at the same thing. So I don't get it. What's going on there?
So I knew when we had conceived the idea of doing this as like a double EP project that I wanted to like riff on the like, is this a bird meme for both? And I'm very lucky to know many talented visual artists, including my good friend Ernie Wood, potentially related. We haven't determined yet. But
we're just going with that's your cousin.
We're just going with Ernie's my cousin. We'll take a DNA test at some point. But yeah, Ernie is someone who I worked with a few times previously for art for Quick Save, and his style is so fun. And so I knew he would be down to do some silly shit for us. So I had him do the artwork. You can find him on online. I'll drop the like Instagram link.
Oh yeah, please do.
Chat here for Ernie, who I know is always open for commissions and whatnot, but super easy to work with. I just
drop that in our video chat here. Sorry.
But yeah, it's basically like obviously everyone knows that Ian and I and most of the people who we work with are just a couple of gremlin ass adults, and so we wanted to make sure that we were continuing the standard we had set for ourselves with the artwork for these releases, basically.
Yeah, totally fits.
Oh my god, it does. And it's just like, it's the call and answer. It's like you got away with telling the joke twice,
basically.
Which I don't know, I love repetition and humor. That's, oh my god, what were we just watching last night? We were watching it was like some parody movie. Holy shit. Paul Rudd. Oh my god. Anyways, that's neither here nor there.
We'll come back to you as soon as we start playing.
Give us some more clues.
Let's listen. Oh my god, guys, I remember. No, you're listening to me now. No, just kidding.
Anyone in chat, if you know what movie Josh is talking about, feel free to drop it in there through the course of the episode, and then we'll come back to it.
Yeah. We won't do that until that happens. I promise. Oh man. Well, we were talking earlier about the merits of Shin Megami Tensei. Why the hell should we play Persona?
It's good.
It's good.
All right.
It's stylish.
The thing about Persona, and by and large, I think the thing about the SMT franchise at large, but especially Persona has such a style about it, right? And like each of the games have their own style. I think everyone's very used to the visual aesthetic of Persona 5 at this point, but even before that, all the games very much had sort of like a vibe that was all their own. That can't really be matched by any other games in the franchise or really any other JRPGs at large. I think, as I said earlier, the Persona games are pretty big with like the social aspect stuff. So it's like, if you're into that sort of thing, like if you're me and you've put too many hours into games like Stardew Valley and stuff like that. You probably like the more social aspects of the Persona games as well. But yeah,
The writing is incredible too.
Yeah.
That, you know, and that goes hand in hand with that. Like everybody's story, like we mentioned earlier, like it could seem like the most innocuous shit that you're doing, like petting a dog or like speaking to an elderly couple, and there's going to be something deep and heart-wrenching there that'll probably have really, really good music attached to it. You know, and so it's really worth, the games tell you, like they say, if you've played Persona 5, it says on the screen, take your time, and really do that. Take your time and explore all those relationships. And, you know, if you just, it's not the kind of franchise where you're trying to just clear it off a list of like, I just want to get through it because everyone said it's great. If you're trying to do that, you're not going to really get the full experience of these games. And it's something you really got to take your time with, build those relationships. And, you know, there's a reason they're popular, and those characters really sit with you, and there's ones that you love and ones you hate, and maybe they start to grow on you a little bit through the course of the writing. That Teddy, for example, from P4. Yeah, sorry to cut in there, Carrie. There's
no, you're fine.
Good reasons to love these games, or at least give them a chance. And yeah, I'd say style, writing, music, just the overall, the way they can weave a tale together, and a lot of good mystery too. As someone who likes a good whodunit that leads to hopefully a not corny but really well thought out ending. There's a lot of that without giving too much away.
What I've always really appreciated about the writing is that, and this goes for the entire Mega 10 franchise, so Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, all the spin-offs as well, is that generally speaking, the sort of core conflict at the heart of the story is always sort of like law versus chaos. It's never so much good versus evil as it is law versus chaos. So I like that sort of twist on the sort of, you know, your typical like alignment chart spectrum, right? That they tend to lean really hard into law versus chaos. And sometimes chaos is evil and sometimes chaos is really good. And you need a little bit of chaos because law becomes overbearing and controlling and oppressive. So yeah, the whole franchise is good. Persona, I think, has an aesthetic that is a little more accessible to the mainstream than mainline SMT. Kev, I don't know if you have anything to add. I have no idea what your relationship with the Persona series is.
I played Persona 5 when it came out, and I was drawn to the style. I thought it was very pretty. And then, of course, the music just like blew me away because it was cool and jazzy and funky, and then some like nice piano stuff. So that was really awesome. And yeah, it took over 100 hours. So like you were saying, it is a bit of a commitment, but as Ian was saying, the writing was so good. I actually held in there for 100 hours, but I will be honest, by the time it was over, I was like, all right, it's
Thank
over.
God.
I'm not going back. Yeah, but I've only played Persona 5, but I think 3 is, now that re-release is up, gonna get to that soon.
Reload's real good.
Yeah, I recommend it.
That's what I hear.
3 is my personal favorite of any of the Persona series. It was my first foray into Persona, and how much I liked 3 is what led me to play Digital Devil Saga, and then led me to play Nocturne. So I was sort of the opposite of Ian's experience, where I started with P3. I think a lot of people started with P3 and worked into the mainline games.
I did Nocturne and then I played P3. Funny enough.
Yeah.
But what about you, Josh?
I fall in the camp of video game music nerds who don't play the video games. I
love the music.
Welcome to Game Gears, bud.
That's just it. I love the music. The music has just been, like you've said before, Carrie, the Persona music has been covered to death. It has a style. It has something that is very popular and poppy and kind of separates itself from a lot of other video game music. I feel just really embracing lyrics and vocals and that poppy jazzy style. It just makes itself stand out. The vibe of Persona's tunes, if you will.
It invented jazz.
It did. Persona invented jazz.
Brought it to the masses.
Before that, we just had like Star Wars' jizz. Sorry, that's Wow. We can
Oh,
change.
you
topic.
jizz heads in
Look,
the comments.
I'm look, the next listening block is our last listening block of the night. I'm pretty stoked on it because I think Personas 3, 4, and 5 are probably the games that most of the people who are here tonight have probably played. But Wiping All Out was one I had wanted to do for a while. Didn't get around to it in previous projects, but getting Kev on drums adds such a flavor to this that I really think took it over the top. And then being able to get our good friend Lacey in on co-vocals with me was great. Wiping All Out is a track that features Lotus Juice. Like a lot of the Persona 3 tracks have this sort of like hip hop infused sort of flavor to them. So there's a lot of Lotus Juice rapping on a lot of the Persona 3 tunes. And I was like, well, I don't want to do both vocals on this. Like, I don't want to rap and then also be singing the sort of like chorus parts. So we recruited Lacey, who of course is also an enormous Persona fan, who is also working on like a Persona 3 album right now, but she was so down to clown with us. So really stoked to have her very silky smooth vocals on there, in contrast to me doing my best Lotus Juice impression.
Wow.
Let me just say as a quick hint, now that we've kind of dropped that, like, yes, there's going to be some more Persona music from some close friends coming pretty soon this year, and that also possibly involves your good friends Carrie and Ian here.
Wow.
So.
This is Persona. That's Persona. Everything is Persona. Oh my god.
You get a Persona, you get one. Look under your seat.
Look under your chairs. Everybody's got a Persona. Oh my god.
Everyone just gets a Jack Frost.
All right. Well, I'm super ready to get into Wiping All Out, as well as the other two songs on this on this listening block. Actually, Signs of Love and Ideal and the Real. So let's look and
Listen.
Go.
But I'm still battling, moving fast while you're just prattling. No time for me, no tangling. Hit you with the spot with no angling.
I'm not a princess.
A lot of anger in it.
Cutie girlfriend, oh no, don't you know?
Yo, flashy rhymes coated with spangles. Add some sounds and at times wrangles. 3 dots connect to rectangles, just like music sounds connected rambles.
You cannot run away.
Hell nah, no man can run away. No,
Me, I stay in your head. One big threat. Demolition. Wiping all out.
wipe out.
I won't go until it's over.
Once again, come on, let's go.
Pieces of wreckage come to me and let it be one.
So dance while I put you in a trance. Let's party with that boogie in your body. Work the body, work the body. Make sure you don't hurt nobody.
I'm not a princess.
Said hey, hey, hey.
Cutie girlfriend, oh no, don't you know?
Yo, fuel the fire with a burning desire. Get up off of that thing. Dance and shake and let's swing. Come on, girl, let me rock your world now.
You cannot run away.
Go tell him, Lacey, let's go.
Me, I stay in your head. One big threat. Demolition. Wiping all out.
Wipe out.
I won't go until it's over.
Once again, come on, let's go.
Pieces of wreckage Signs of love overshadows my dreams. Baby, don't worry, 'cause you ain't alone. Only time running days without nights. Tears pass through.
He said, I'm the one who's got to leave. I said, nobody's really got to leave, cause I don't hear enough explanation. All I need is admiration, big frustration. Bro, he goes, life is short, we gave a shot, but didn't work, honey, cause we had a whole lot going on and on and on.
Signs of love overshadows my dreams. Baby, don't worry, 'cause you ain't alone. Only time running days without night. Tears pass through. Every time, look at the picture in the frame. Gaze in fascination so hard. You still think that it's nothing but love. Rain still falls. Signs of love overshadows my dreams. Baby, don't worry, 'cause you ain't alone. Only time running days without nights. Tears pass through.
He said, I'm the one who's got to leave. I said, nobody's really got to leave, cause I don't hear enough explanation. All I need is admiration, big frustration. Bro, he goes, life is short, we gave a shot, but didn't work, honey, cause we had a whole lot going on and on and on.
Signs of love overshadows my dreams. Baby, don't worry, 'cause you ain't alone. Only time running days without night. Tears pass through. Every time, look at the picture in the frame. Gaze in fascination so hard. You still think that it's nothing but love.
deserve to spend your days in happiness. I'll keep on rooting for all of you to have the best lives possible, even after I'm long gone.
Beautiful. Yeah, love that. Love that long, slow burn at the end there, Ian. Absolutely. Best way to end an album, dude. Just fucking lay back. I don't know. Persona's good for that too. You know, they've already kind of like
Yeah.
hyped you up a bunch, and they're ready to just kind of mellow things out a little bit.
Take a little melatonin, some ibuprofen, some NyQuil, some ZQuil, whatever, and just kind of kick, close your eyes.
Oh man, yeah.
Drift away.
I'm on that vibe. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Was it? I think it was Moo Man put the poll in there. Like, is Josh on that good NyQuil? I will be. Oh my god. Well, that was it. That was Persona, folks. In case you weren't aware, there was like this whole shtick about it being Persona or not. That's what that was.
Yeah.
100%. Awesome job. Bi Score, also featuring Kev, also featuring Lacey Johnson and Ronan Opef. Awesome job, everybody. Love it. Love the love that you have crafted and given to this franchise, this this one single franchise, as it were. Yeah.
We just want Atlas and Sega to have our money, and we want something
Your
back
money.
in return. So.
Yep.
Oh man. Well, folks, if you want to get in on that sweet Persona and or Shin Megami Tensei music, that is Persona in the chat there, and there is also Is This Persona in the chat right there. Yeah, and so This Is Persona is coming out tomorrow. In fact,
I honestly might throw it up tonight. Who cares?
I think that would be smart.
Who
Why
cares?
not? It's
Why not?
2024. Who cares anymore?
Who
you
cares?
heard it here first, folks. Oh my god, that's amazing. Well, it looks like you guys have sourced some good support already. So, folks, if you are so inclined, please head on over there and buy the album anyways. And with Carrie's good graces, you might have that before you know it.
Yep.
Right on.
Yeah.
Well, that is the digital release. I am assuming this is also going to make its way to the other regular streaming platforms. But
Yeah, it'll be up on streaming soon.
So after a lot of back and forth with the distributors on Is This Persona, it's finally on streaming. That's on streaming right now. You can go to Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you choose to stream music. Stream that right away. We are hoping that the process for This Is Persona is a little smoother than the one that we had for Is This Persona. Who knows? It'll get up eventually either way. But look, everyone in here, everyone in chat right now is another VGM nerd. Y'all play music. Y'all know what the deal is. Distribution to streaming right now fucking sucks. and I'm not going to get any further into it than that. It's a pain in the
Is this
ass,
Persona?
and I wish it wasn't.
Is this licensed?
Right.
Yeah, right.
Licensed? Oh my god. Oh man.
But on the other
go-
other end of things,
Yep.
we are doing CDs. I have placed the order. Hopefully, they will be en route to us in time for our shows, including one that we're doing next month with Kev. So,
Right on. Quick question: is that going to be in like a double sleeve with both pieces of art on either side?
so it's going to be it's a single CD, of course, but you'll have one cover on one side and one on the other. Yeah, so
Beautiful.
you can display it however you choose. And those, when you order it from us, it'll come with a sticker and maybe a couple other little goodies and whatnot. But yeah, the order was placed for the CDs literally today because I got my paycheck today. So I could afford to order the CDs. But we're hoping the turnaround is quick enough that we have them in time. We're doing a show next month in Falls Church, Virginia, as part of Ultranova. And Kev will be joining us on drums for that show, and I'm really, really stoked for that.
Me too.
Good. Hope so.
Kev's a real good drummer.
Aw.
He is.
So we'll definitely be doing at least a couple tracks off of these EPs at that show. And then in April, if you're going to VGM Con, we'll be playing on the Hero stage on 420 because the people in charge of scheduling definitely know what they're doing. So we'll be playing the Hero stage.
I saw on the schedule that your set is scheduled to end at 4:25, and I'm just picturing the two of you like, all right, no encores, guys. We're gonna
we're out of here.
If we end at 4:19 and then we're gonna be, like this on stage. Turn around.
no. Screw this
Don't smoke
Coca-Cola.
marijuana in the Minneapolis Crown Plaza West.
Do not do
Don't do it. Don't
No.
allow it.
We are not liable for any.
Go outside.
Mm-mm.
Don't let
Go
me do
outside.
Go outside. But at VGM Con, we'll be joined by our buddy Rocky on drums, who I know is in chat right now as well.
it. There he
So,
is. Yep, not inside.
Yep.
Rocky knows.
So we're super stoked to be playing with him. And yeah, we'll certainly be doing a bunch of new material at both of these shows, as well as playing some stuff off the Hot Light as well. So it's going to be a couple really good sets. But Ultranova is going to be good. That's up first if you are in the mid-Atlantic region of the United States. There's a bunch of folks we're flying in. So the full lineup is us, Geek Swag, who are coming down from Boston, I think, for that. Zaku.
We'll also cover a lot of Persona music.
Mhm.
Yep.
Zaku's coming down from Philly, and then you've got Mon, Wazdi, and Steel Samurai rounding out the bill. So that's a stacked lineup.
It's gonna be a tone zone for sure.
Just $20.
Large tone. Oh my god.
So definitely check that out. And then if you're going to VGM Con, definitely come see us there too. So
Hell yeah. And Kev, since you're here anyways, what about yourself, man?
Let's see. Well, playing that Ultranova show with Bi Score. Can't wait for that. And then at VGM Con, I'm playing with a band called Super Strikers, which is myself and Stemage and Dino from Cheap Dinosaurs and Zaku and Chromelodian. And our friend Steve, he goes by APOC. He's a chip tune musician. So we're doing that kind of 4-piece. Well, you're gonna have to come and see what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a little bit of everything. But we're
real
also
excited
about
for that show.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be.
Are you gonna play
that's
Gimmick?
You'll have to see. We have to wait and see.
Okay.
We could. That's something we can do.
All right. Cool. I want to be a Punisher real quick while I got you here because Super Strikers rule.
Yeah.
Thanks. I almost forgot. There's a mega album from Brave Wave Productions coming out that very weekend. That's gonna be for sale for the first time that day. So we're gonna be playing some of those tunes, slinging some of those albums, and yeah, really psyched about that. So if you're at VGM Con, check out Super Strikers.
Yeah. Definitely don't miss VGM Con. That is going to be a sick time. Absolutely can't wait about that. Well, Carrie, Ian, what's on the horizon beyond shows, etc.?
Ian's working on solo stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's obviously going to be a lot of Bi Score this year. A lot of Goblin Band stuff, a lot of solo stuff. So I'll just say it here. I'm working on 2 albums right now at the same time. They're going to come out when they come out. One is just going to be an Ian Cowell album. It's still going to have a lot of buds on it, a lot of friends. Your Joe Newmans, your Jay Kims, your Carrie Woods, other people with this arm all raised, and then it's going to be a lot more of the electronic, a lot of the chill, lo-fi, classic, exceptional Goblins era Ian Cowell stuff we all know and love. The syrupy, chorus-laden guitars and the boom bap drums and the questionable mix choices, and then I just say it's a vibe, and then you can't argue with me about what I decided to do mix wise. But I'll still show it to Kev on the side and be like, dude, is this good? Is this sound okay?
Oh, it's a vibe. I didn't ask you.
And then so because I had such a large selection of tracks that I had already wanted to do, but I was kind of starting to see kind of stylistic conflicts and what the live band is starting to become versus like what I want to put out that's just chill music. There's going to be another Ian Cowell album, but it's going to be And the Band of Exceptional Goblins, which is our rotating cast, but it's pretty solidified cast of about, let's say 7 to 10 folks who are going to be on here. Basically a lot of Kev Ragone playing drums, a lot of Terry Waldo,
Hell yeah.
a lot of Joe Newman and Jay Kim, and a lot of the same names, and Nick Galvez, and a lot of folks, a lot of good friends here that we all know and love. That if you saw the band at MagFest in January, it's going to be a full album of a full band arrangements of some really good VGM, classics. I mean, the first single, I guess you could say, of this is up on Spotify. It's our Boomer Kawanger rearrangement of my rearrangement. It was an old Dwelling of Duels track I did in 2020.
I think it was like November 2020 or something like that.
Something like that. It was a long time ago. But then, then we got everyone to actually play the parts, and we've been doing it live. And then it was like, well, why not just have a whole album of this stuff? So Kev and I have already, thrown some stuff back and forth, and we have a lot of stuff in kind of the demo phase, but there's going to be a full band album coming, and who knows where that could lead us with other shows in the future, whether that's mag adjacent, stuff or what have you, and just playing on a lot of friends' stuff, and I doing stuff with my non-VGM band Psychic Hit as well. That's another writing phase, so I'm busy. I'm busy with a lot of stuff, and we are going to be putting out too. I'll say this: we're going to have the first official Band of Goblins thing is going to be our MagFest set, probably sometime in March. We're going to have a release of that, so whole live album. Having some art commissioned for that right now by someone who does a lot of really good art in the community, and going to have the whole video put up, so that'll be our 100th YouTube video as well. So
Wow.
might even do a stream night or something on Twitch where we just watch it and have some laughs and gaffs and goofs and get to see it. And so that'll be coming out in the middle of everything Bi Score and whatever VGM nonsense I'm up to at that particular time. What about you, Carrie?
Well, Bi Score wise, I'm excited for some upcoming collaborations that we're not really at liberty to fully discuss yet, but we've got some cool stuff. We've been tapped by some of our pals to contribute to their work, and that's always very humbling. Beyond that, I think look, we're always doing shit, right? Like as has been said, the can't stop, won't stoppingest group in VGM currently. I do not know how to slow down. Someone once described me as being like the bus from the movie Speed, where if I stop moving, I will simply explode. So
No, that was the driver though. Like you're the bus.
So we'll see. We'll see what happens. I will at least say I am heading a project for Game Grooves that we're looking to, I think, publicly announce within the next couple of months, but I'm really excited to be in the producer role for the first time. So I'm personally really excited for it. It was something that I pitched and I'm now being able to see to completion over at Game Group. So I'm very stoked for that. And then other than that, I'm going to be working on my own solo album this year. So I've decided I'm going to tackle the entire Pokemon trading card game soundtrack.
Oh my god!
Top to bottom, Josh, I know it's one of your favorites. It's always been one of mine. So yeah, I'm doing top down the entire soundtrack. I've started arranging it. No real timetable for any of that shit. It's definitely it'll be done when it's done kind of situation, but I'll definitely be tapping some folks to contribute on that front as well. Sure, dude, if you want to play some guitar, that'd be fucking
Tap
killer.
me for some fucking Pokemon anytime.
But yeah, I love the Pokemon trading card game. I love it as a game. I've played the game to death over the years, but I've always loved the soundtrack. I just a quick aside on that, 8-Bit Music Theory just released an incredible breakdown of like how the music in that game is so good and how Ichiro Shimakura was able to manipulate the 3 available sound channels on a Game Boy cart to make it really sound like a full band, and just in the way that he was able to write those licks and whatnot, just so good. Really masterful use of a very limited set of sounds on the good old Game Boy Color. But yeah, so that's sort of my thing. As has sort of been mentioned, like I don't just play bass, I also play guitar. I also play trombone. If you saw me at MagFest, you may have seen me play with Allison Martin's trombone choir for the opening ceremonies. We got to perform her arrangement of Criteria for the opening ceremonies. That was a lot of fun. I was very humbled to be asked to do that because in the grand scheme of things, I'm not a very experienced trombone player. But I'm using this TCG project basically as an excuse to really push myself musically and do a little more on the synth side and do a lot more hopefully on the trombone side as well. So really looking forward to starting that. I'm also still arranging for the Baltimore Gamer Symphony Orchestra. So they will be performing I've done a fresh arrangement of a medley of pieces from Golden Sun for their RPG season, which will be their spring 2024 season. And I'm already kicking around some ideas for fall for them as well. So I will continue to be arranging on the orchestral end of VGM as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing the results of that.
Wow.
Oh, damn. Wow. Yeah, we've been here 20 minutes listening to what you guys have coming up for the year.
One more thing, Josh.
Yeah.
On this very bonus stage in a couple of weeks, an EP called Six Pack is going to be released, which is
that's right.
Yeah,
our
dude.
friends, the aforementioned Joe Newman and our friend Logan Tucker and myself playing Sega classics, 6 of them. That's why we call it a 6-pack.
It's dope.
So get yourself a 6-pack and listen to the 6-pack.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
We'll be here same time, same place in 2 weeks. Yeah, doing our Let's Listen for that one. I can't wait for that. And there's Joe in chat. Hey, bud.
I forgot that I'll also
Doing
be here
kids
for that because I played some guitar on the last track on the album too. So.
Yeah, Ian's on that, sure.
Oh, man. Carrie, are you on that album? Are you
No,
gonna
I'm
be
not.
here?
No, it's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say, fun fact, all of 6-pack is also in the Band of Goblins, even though the 6-pack is not the Band of Goblins.
Oh, man. Yeah, there's just like a little common pool of talent right there. It's amazing. Oh,
Friendship. Friendship wins the day.
Oh, yeah. Awesome. All right, folks. So in 2 weeks, we're going to be back here with 6-pack. But next week, we're going to be having Console, the VGM band. That's the one based out of Hawaii, not to be confused with Console and the Consoles.
New York and Australia, respectively.
Right, Australia.
Yeah, but we're going to be having them. They've been on bonus stage performing a few times, but they are finally releasing their debut album, and so we're going to be having a Let's Listen for them. And then 6-pack the week after that, and then we're going to have Balkan Bleeps on the week after that. So yeah, we're trying to establish a bit of a pattern here. I've been very happy with the success and popularity of the Let's Listen series, but I'm trying to address my own capacity as a lone human being. And so we're going to be doing one a week, and they will be on Thursdays. So, as long as people are releasing stuff, we might see that just happen throughout most of the year. But yeah, folks, if you want to be here for Let's Listens, they will be happening at 6 p.m. Pacific time on Thursdays. So yeah, tune in for at least the next 3 weeks for listening in on what the VGM scene is up to in terms of releases. And as Carrie mentioned, you guys are all fucking video game musicians and nerds. So if you would like to put your new release out on a Let's Listen, then just hit me up. Go in the Discord, or I don't know, message me on Facebook. God, I hate social media. Please join our Discord. That is the best place to reach me. But yeah, thanks everybody for coming out tonight. It's been a real treat. Thank you, Carrie, Ian, Kev, for being here tonight and sharing your talents and your words
Absolutely.
and all of your amazing aspirations with us tonight.
Thank you, Josh.
Absolutely. Pleasure and an honor. Yeah, folks, I'm going to just put on a couple of tunes while we select a raid target for those of you who are still willing to tune in. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Have a good one, folks. Goodbye.
Bye.
See ya.